So please put your hands together for us because we're doing things. We're doing things, okay? Papa will be proud. Yeah. And of course, we have a Sean Fakwa in the house. Our most recent husband in the house. Just shining anyhow. So much for being here. We have Hakeem Kondoti. Thank you so much for being here as well. And then our moderator, who I'm going to be inviting to the stage very shortly. I'm sure you want to know who this person is. Well, her name is Oyin Talabi. She's a media entrepreneur, a creative producer, and a wellness advocate whose work sits at the intersection of storytelling, culture, and social impact. She serves as a director of the Kuramo Creative Lab, where she mentors emerging writers and filmmakers through book to screen projects. With over a decade of experiencing and producing festivals and creative initiatives, Oyin is passionate about harnessing film and storytelling as tools for transformation and collective growth across Africa. Well, I see her as the person whose shoes I'm going to be collecting after this. But for you today, she's the moderator. Please put your hands together for Oyin Talabi. Thank you so much.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me. So let me just put this out there. This is my second panel that I'm moderating like this. In case I fall, just be gentle. Just be gentle with me. Thank you. Thank you, Dami. So I am, just before I introduce or I call up the panelists for this session, I just wanted to give you a little background about this session that we're having, which is faith and purpose-led storytelling session. And it's a continuation of a conversation that started last year. And it was powered by, it's still powered by Eden Venture Group. I'm stepping in for Fifeho, lead on Eden, and also White Harvest Network. And they powered the session last year. And if you were here for that session last year, you would be pleased to know that it wasn't just a conversation. We actually then went on to get funding for films. We pulled together partners, funding, and some projects were actually produced. And we're going to be talking with one of the filmmakers is also on the panel today. So it's good to know that this panel, at least for me, these panel sessions happen, and I always wonder what happens after. So it's good to know that impact is actually happening. Things are moving. So today we continue the conversation, and this time around we're asking this question: how can we use faith and purpose-led films to reshape African and diaspora stories for a better future? From storytelling and audience building to financing, distribution, and beyond. I mean, the previous panel talked about how it's all about Nigeria right now. So how are we going to move that with faith and purpose? So I'm going to call forth our incredible panels of producers and creative and cultural visionaries. I'm starting off with Sean Fakwa, actor, filmmaker, and change advocate. He's known for his powerful performances in Lagos Krugers, Before My Eyes, New Husband, Fashionista. And then I'm going to invite in Laju Iron, who's a writer, filmmaker, and faith-based creative voice, and who also had her film funded from last year's conversation. So she's going to tell us a little bit about that. And then I'm going to invite in Dr. Foy, who's a media personality, creative entrepreneur, and he's actually a trailblazer in this faith-based entertainment space. And then I'm going to invite Edith Kenta. Sorry if I murdered your name, forgive me. She's a British-Nigerian screenwriter, producer, and creative consultant. And then I'm going to invite Hakeem Kondoti. He's a faith-driven serial entrepreneur with over 20 years experience in international markets. So we can't wait to hear from all of you. I am going to start off, thank you all for being with us. And I am going to start off with Dr. Foy. You have been long spoken. You've been in this space about talking about faith and spirituality, just merging that. Also with entertainment. I mean, when some of us were doing church, you were doing counterculture, and which was church outside of church and pulling in the youth. So in this landscape, fast changing landscape that we're in now, where how do we keep faith-based storytelling authentic and relevant to a generation that's increasingly skeptical about religion?
Where's my owner?
Because you're a strong
So-
man.
Okay, hi. Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, I need the mic.
Yes.
Hi, so my name is Dr. Foy, Tochukwu McFoy, trained doctor, but I practiced for 18 months with the military hospital. 18 months. And I'll tell the story. I knew I wasn't going to practice when I got a call from Cool FM to come do a show, a health show. And after the health show, one day, you know Nedu, the popular Nedu? The popular Nedu one day missed his show, and I filled in for him, and I took his show, the night show, and from there, MTV Base headhunted me, Alex Okosi,
Wow.
and that's how I started entertainment. I'm back end, front end, but more back end. My past 14 years has been in core entertainment. So it was MTV, it was Budweiser, it was some Budweiser, yeah, the football show, the music show, and then I started something called Energize. So Energize has 4 verticals. It has music, so we signed T.Y. Bello, Great Man Tackett, and we're driving Afro gospel. So all this juggler, gays, baba, we help behind the scene to drive it. And then there's the part where we're doing central, where we're doing content, and we're raising funding for content. On the other side, I work for the family of the Ogiami and Olori of Owori. That's what they call Elevate Africa. So I'm the head of content for that, and we're producing film across Africa. So we're in Botswana, we're in Ghana. So I said I have a back end and a front end. I said it to say that in my journey of seeing this season, I think that being authentic is not more aesthetics. Because most people think of being authentic is about how you look, how you do. It's not that anymore. Being authentic is 2 things. Number 1 is speaking to the generation in their voice and respecting their perspective. Let me explain. My work in Afro Gospel, we do a lot of concerts. A lot of concerts. So we do concerts in universities, we do stuff with concerts. We're doing 5 concerts this December, 5. And I'm with university kids, and I'm with university students, and they keep talking about hypocrisy. Now you know the Gen Z, they're different too. They're kind of rude to me, but
Yeah,
it's
they're
not
very
rude.
outspoken.
But because they ask
Straight.
straight. They don't even
Yeah.
add small respect. They call me Foy. I call my boy Sir. They call me Foy. But they are not about aesthetics. They want truth. They want truth. Of course, they need experience. They need experience. They need all that. So you can't. But being authentic in this season is telling them truth in the honest form. There's a guy who spoke to me about pornography, sexual, and he says to me that, "For nobody's doing content on sex. I learned sex from pornography. Nobody's doing that content. Nobody in this."
Yeah.
And I was trying to explain to him that, you know what, there's biology, and I felt stupid. Because I realized that somebody has to tell those stories. Now, it doesn't really, and this I'm going to, it doesn't really have to be. God told me, who do you prefer to tell sex stories? Is it the one who made sex or the devil? I said, the one who made sex. It is best that Christians own content. It doesn't have to be slapped as a Christian content. But the spirit behind the content, the tone behind the content, the energy behind the content drives it. Listen, I work for a king, Ogame, the Ulu of Wari. We go to Ghana festivals like Juju Popper Festival. I'm serious. So one time he was pouring water by the river. I'm his head of content across. So I'm watching him. And I ask him, I say, sir, Ogame means God of what? Water. And he's born again. So I asked him.
He redeemed the space.
That's what he did. He said that he was praying in tongues when he was pouring the water. And he said, it's nobody's business. And that's where we have to get to.
Yeah.
Where it's nobody's business.
I love what you said about it not being overtly
Slapped.
Christian, as in it's really about the energy behind the story, the script, even the production and how it is that you're managing your set and the people that are working with you. So I'm going to move to Laju, who was a beneficiary from last year's conversation. So we had Africa No Filter, CC Hub. They came on board and helped put together a structure that she was able to benefit from to make a film. Unfortunately, we don't have enough time. We would have shown you the trailer of the film. But can you tell us the process, how that was for you from, after that conversation and everybody came together, how were you able to pull that in?
Thank you so much, Oye. I haven't had the opportunity to publicly thank my orgas at the top, my sponsors. So I think it would be a good opportunity to really thank Eden Venture Group for putting together that panel that I happened to be on last year, because faith and film is something that I've always been passionate about. So it was really good to be on that panel. And I want to thank Africa No Filter, White Harvest, the entire team at AFRIFF as well. So please help me celebrate our funders. We got funding for a film called A Fisher Woman's Dream, which is out in cinemas next year in March. By God's grace, please celebrate with us. So it's really about changing and challenging gender stereotypes, especially about women. And I think that that's something that our funders really wanted to put forward. But because it's my film, it must have a faith element to it. It might not be essentially a faith-based film right off the bat, but you will see the elements of faith because it's my work. But it was really a very straightforward process. And that's the reason why I think that meetings like this are important, because it's not really about how full the room is, it's about who's in the room. And if you've been a faith-based storyteller or any storyteller of any kind in this industry, you realize that there's a major funding gap. So it was really beautiful to shared and just conversations about faith and film. I think that was already made it a winner in itself. But what we now did was, after the panel, everybody there had the opportunity to attend a training on gender norms. And I think that is beautiful. I like how Dr. Floyd talked about the fact that who should tell stories about these things? Who should tell stories about women?
Yeah.
The idea that true feminism is somewhat far removed from faith is not the Bible way. Because nobody in history fought for women like Jesus did. Yeah. He allowed the woman with the issue of blood to touch him and made no complaints whatsoever. Sat in public with the Samaritan woman. So I don't think that we should let the world, but we should let the world define what womanhood is, or we should let the world tell our stories. I think that we should definitely continue to tell stories on salvation and stories on healing and stories on core Christian values. But at the end of the day, God didn't just create the church, he created the world. So it means that we must tell world view stories from God's point of view. And I think that I really am happy about the way the entire process went, because we had trainings. This is what we're trying to achieve in terms of women and girls. And I remember them giving us a particular method to measure how women are represented in film. And they said, why we want to be able to see a film where two women are talking and it's not about a man.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, nice. Like, of course, I love love. I love marriage. I came here from... Sean dragged me here from the resort I was spending my 11th wedding anniversary holiday. So I love love. Yeah. But I think that there is always a way to balance. I always say that I don't really know much about the devil being in details, but if you look at the extremes, you'll find him there. So it means that we can properly represent women, if necessary, in the storyline, also represent marriage. But yeah, it was a really beautiful process, very transparent. And then the funders would bring in partners. I remember our script consultant saying, so when I walked on Game of Thrones with them, I was like, yeah, okay, I'm in the right room. So it was really just nice to kind of have different partners across board as we worked on the film, and they gave really helpful feedback. But at the end of the day, it was our film, and we told the story the way we wanted to tell it, and I think that that's so powerful. The input and of course the funding as well. They funded about 80% of it, so it was really beautiful to have that.
Awesome.
I don't know if I've answered the question, but I think I've given some answers.
But I just want to dig a little deeper in something for you and Dr. Foy, just so that I don't forget it. And that's really about the misconception. What are the misconceptions about faith-based films that you think is, out there? And because you've both touched on, it doesn't have to be overtly Christian, and you talked about how, you've sort of weaved your life into it. So what are those general misconceptions that are out there, and so that filmmakers can just check, remove when you are reading through? Just very...
I think that storytelling is a very subjective thing. Okay, if you're in the room and you've ever seen a film, you didn't say it out loud, but in your mind you were like, this is not a great film. I don't like this. You can just cut eye for me. Like, this is not, you don't have to raise your, you know they are filmmakers. But like, this is not a great film. I don't like the acting. I don't like the fake accent this one is using to speak. I don't like. But then you see comments and somebody's like, this person is the best actor I've ever seen in my whole entire life.
Yeah.
So I think that storytelling is very subjective. And I think that when it comes to faith-based, I think that maybe instead of focusing on the things that divide us as to the misconceptions, I think it makes sense. I know Dr. Foy will still speak to this, but I think it makes sense to realize that we will all attack this from different angles. I would sit down and I would watch the Bamiloye's films and enjoy myself, right? But their storytelling angle is a bit different from mine. And for some people, that is the truth. For some people, the Willows are the truth. For some people, the Nigerian films are the truth. So I think that when it comes to storytelling, we don't necessarily have to focus on what the misconceptions are. I think that people should continue to tell stories in the ways that their audience appreciates those stories without downplaying the truth of the gospel. But I think that faith-based storytelling can really come in different forms. It can come in different forms. You can say, before I put my actors on stage, I pray and I speak in tongues and I choose them by faith. That's great. Some of us can say, well, I choose people that are basically level-headed and can act. So I think at the end of the day, we must all approach this from different angles. I think it's so important. We must continue to, because we don't even have enough faith-based stories to even now be arguing about. So everybody should come. Just make sure that at the core we are doing it the right way, and that we're not taking advantage of the church to tell the kind of stories that
they want to hear.
We want to tell, because we're like, okay, let's just put church inside. God is going to judge a lot of all of us. So.
Got you.
So I'll say this. I'll say that we should try and drive two categories. We should have faith-based movies. We should have movies by people in faith.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
We should have faith-based movies and movies by people in what? People of faith. And I'll explain. The issue is funding. The problem is funding. And I'm in that space. At a point in my life, I was in LA working with Storylab, and we're funding movies. So I think one issue is funding. And faith-based movies need funding. Almost like we should have CSR. Like, we should get a fund to fund it, because she's right. There are not plenty faith-based movies. Then, movies of people of faith. Guys, there's a lot of strategy involved with that. Understand grants, climate. So be in the know on how to grab all the money. I'll be honest with you. I've been in talks for the past 7 to 9 months with Americans. John Forrester, Forsen. These guys, Trump is not powerful now. They're looking to fund faith-based movies. A lot of them. I'm talking with Angel Studios. Like, it's our time. Now, this is the truth. I'm not even sure. I say this with all due respect. I'm not even sure these Americans are thinking of evangelism and salvation. No. It's more nationalism. It's more Republican. It's not like spiritual, let's save a life. It's just writing on Trump. So in all these things, we have to know there's funding issue, and that's a big deal. And then there is agenda money. There's something called one nation, it's on YouTube. And guys, if you're Muslim here, please, it's still, I don't, it's a Muslim fund. They've put $3.8 billion. It's from the sovereign fund. So the sovereign fund put $44.5 billion from Saudi. That's where Ronaldo, all this. So it was for sports and for film. And they've done a great job. So I think some faith-based movies just have to be that CSR agenda-driven, and then movies by faith-based people have to be strategic in finding funding.
I mean, even on the back of what you said, the IDICE fund that we're all expectant of has funding from the Islamic Bank as well. And I'm wondering, where's the church? Where's their own money going? Okay, Sean, I'm moving over to you. So you were part of the first conversation. I mean, you were, the architect with Fifehoim pulling that off. How have you seen the landscape of faith-based stories and them just coming together? How are you seeing that evolve? I know he's mentioned funding, but how is that space evolving? Are they becoming more mainstream? What's there?
First of all, I want to thank everyone for being here. It's obvious that we're shifting culture, right? I made a post earlier today, about it being the appointed time. It's the appointed time. It's obvious, right? We are right here on a mainstream festival. So this is not a kingdom festival. It's not a faith-based festival. It's in case you're not aware, this is the biggest film festival in Africa. And we're talking about faith, right? We're talking about purpose. It's a miracle in and of itself, right? I know the last one we started last year. I know the battles we had to fight, from outside within, to save you all the details. It wasn't going to happen. But the Lord had told me it's going to happen. And so we sat in it, and it sure did happen. And it was, I dare say, the best panel, AFRIFF 2013. 2023, the best. And then, following up to that was seeing a live testimony of those who have participated, who have gained funding, and have shot a film. I give round of applause again for Laju, please, and Edith, because she had a deadline to release March next year to submit. Sorry, not release. March next year, but she has finished the film, and if it wasn't just for time, we would have shown the film, and it's going to be released on the same March next year at the time she was meant to submit the film, not release, right? And it's very important for me, and I dare say for us, because we have been in a place where others have received that type of funding and have messed it up for everybody else. Right? So it's so important that we have integrity, especially when it comes to faith, the things of God, that we're not just trying to be mediocre about it, right? But we are delivering excellence at such speed. You won't really understand this, but those in the room who have been declined because somebody else went ahead and shot and messed up the gate and messed up the opportunity for everybody else. Really understand, what I'm talking about. So for me, that's the testimony out of this, that we're not just sitting in a room having conversations anymore, because we've had plenty of this. I'm sure everybody understands what I'm talking about. For the past decade, we've been talking and talking and talking. Right, so to see an actual result, and to know that there's going to be, that multiplier effect, because this is just one of the many, right? And then it is also coming from this type of stream, which is kingdom, because we must set the pace for others to follow. When film was first, when it became a theme, it was faith that was driving it. I'm not talking Africa, I'm talking even in the US. Right? Unfortunately, the devil stepped in, turned the cinemas into different things, and that's just how they came in. And they came in because the church decided to step back. So we are not, the reason why we're having this conversation is so that we see what the error was in the past and not repeat the same thing. So when Four is speaking about the church stepping in, I'm not talking about church, I'm talking about the body, I'm talking about us right here. You're right. We must step in. The conversations that you are afraid to talk about, which you will talk about and even indulge in the back end when nobody's watching. These are the things we must now intentionally become a part of and actively push. Sex, pornography, the things that, the what they call it, the plagues of this generation, the addictions
Sexuality.
that a lot of people, and it's not even confined to age these days, right? It's, yeah, the young people are dealing with it, but even older people are dealing with it. Who's talking about it? Who's bold to address it from the place of grace and faith and truth? Right? So, I mean, these are the things we're here to talk about, because these are the conversations as creatives. When you go back and you're writing that script or you have a story, yes, it's good to make money, don't get me wrong. But guess what? Filmmaking is first agenda driven.
Yeah.
I promise you. I promise, no matter where you are in the world, if you are not pushing an agenda, you are you unknowingly pushing somebody else's agenda.
Yeah.
You just don't know it.
Yeah.
Right? But the consciousness of who you are as a person, as a faith-based person, your identity must tell through in the story that you're telling. Like Foy said, the building is sanctified by the builder. In other words, it's the story. It's the person that it comes out from that sanctifies. It's not the story itself.
Yeah.
So when you are reading certain, I read certain stories as an actor, and I just smile because I know that the spirit behind this is not godly.
Yeah.
Oh yes, it's not. Right? I know that certain writers who, there's certain fantasies that they've played out in their head and they want you to, oh, I'm telling you the truth. It's not a joke. Right? So we are at war, guys, in case you don't know. There's certain scriptures you see, I've had to do like a couple of hours, in the secret place. Because I know, the Holy Spirit has said to me sometime that this cannot go to somebody else. In other words, it can't go to another actor because it will mess them up. I've given you this responsibility. And I'm like, it's intense. It's not a joke. Because I've had to want to turn them down. But he says, you can't do it. You can't turn it down. Because you have the capacity to carry this. And it will not mess you up. You will not compromise. You will not pervert it. In other words. Right? So I've seen certain people come to me and say, oh, your character was so this and this. But there was just something about it. I just saw God in it. And it wasn't a God role.
You bring the God.
It shocks me. But I'm not sure because I know what has gone in the back end before that came out. Yeah. So I'm saying this to say that you must be intentional about this work. We're not joking, guys. This is the devil's playground, in case you're not aware. It is. Yeah. For those who don't know. Right? So, yes, so when you receive, you can't, first of all, just can't receive any story from anywhere. I don't know how people do that. I came up with this. I'm like, okay, what is behind it? What are you pushing?
What's the agenda?
What's the agenda?
Yeah. And
then you throw in the entertainment element in it. That's all that matters. Everybody will receive it, not knowing what they are receiving, and then it implodes from within them. Yeah. That's why you can be here in Nigeria and you are shaping mindsets billions of miles away from home. That's how some of us came into this industry. We saw Michael Jackson on the screens years ago, and we wanted to be in entertainment. As toddlers, we just knew that, dance became my first love, and then film. And they were I've never met some of these people in my life. That's how powerful the tool of film is. Yeah. Right? So I hope that.
Very much so.
Okay.
And a key thing that I want, the filmmakers in the house to take away is that there must be an agenda. Yeah. And if you're not conscious of the agenda that you are pushing someone else's agenda. But, all the Hollywood films we watch, there's an agenda. Very conscious agenda. And so we also need to be very conscious about that. So I'm moving on to Edith for now. And so you've worked across Nollywood and the UK and the US. From your vantage point, how are African faith and purpose-led stories perceived in global markets?
Ooh, interesting question. I think that when we talk about faith-based films, we think of laying of hands. We think of people crying in the church. We think of overt scenes that just, yeah, like Christianese. How are you? I'm blessed and highly favored. Just say fine. Do you understand? So I think that perception is starting to change because of the way that we are starting to work with filmmakers. So for example, like with Laju, for example, we have scripts consultants. We have people that go to, for example, CC Hub did a training course, and that just shows you about nuance. Like nuance is so important when it comes to film, and how we talk to each other and how we kind of convey our faith. And sometimes we're just so used to just being on the nose with things that when you do go through courses and you go through a program, you now start to understand the language of film and how people actually interact and how people actually understand your content. Um, I feel like with Nigerian cinema and Nigerian film, we're starting to shift. People are starting to watch our film not as Nigerian film, as actual just film. And that's what we want. We want to appeal to people and just be like, this is how we do in this country, but we're not just a Nigerian faith-based film. We want to be a Nigerian film. Do you understand what I mean? So I think that perception is changing, but there's still a lot of work to be done. And luckily, I wouldn't say luckily, I say we're blessed now, and we're in a space where more and more people are starting to realize that there's actually an audience for faith-based films, and it's actually not even just an audience. People just want to see good films. And when we're talking about good films, we're talking about faith is also something that can be attached to a film. So you can be watching a film and there are faith elements in the film, but I'm not necessarily pushing faith. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just how you kind of Sean said, what is the agenda? What story are you trying to tell? I can watch a film and it's not a faith-based film per se, but there's a moral at the end of it. Or I've learnt that this person or this character has gone through change from the beginning of the film to the end of the film, and I go home and I think about it, versus somebody that is laying on of hands. And there's nothing wrong with that. I think both can coexist, but you don't have to take one from the other. They can both work in the same space.
I totally agree with you.
Thank you.
I agree. Hakeem, coming over to you. So you've built a strong reputation in co-production and international distribution. What lessons can faith-based filmmakers learn from mainstream production models?
Thank you. Like Sean said, thanks to everyone that is here. The conversations are important, and to see legends in our present still here carrying on conversation. In terms of on the productions, I always put a disclaimer first. I'm not a creative. I'm a businessman. I don't understand so much the creative world, but I understand money making and value adding and value creation.
Okay.
And I learned early in my life that, as against popular opinion, funding is never an issue for anything. If you're creating value, you're adding value, money will always follow. There's no project I've started in my life in the first season without having to, lose my shirt. And so that's one. And two is when it comes to the faith and film making in general, the most critical problem that I've not heard here today is the one of platforms. I think the biggest issue that whether it's faith-based, whether it's secular, that we face is platform. When you have the right platforms, the funding for faith-based movies will not be a problem. And case in point is the House of David. And it's something I stumbled on and I really enjoyed. And it's a faith story, but it got proper funding behind it. And because they were able to put it on a platform that would harness the value out of it and make the money back. And before, it lasted weeks, they renewed it for another season. So again, it's about finding and writing and creating those stories and adding a value to it that you can place in places that will be able to drive the value. Now, like I said, the platform is a problem for us here. And, generally, whether it's even on the music guys have it better than the movies people do. And it's almost unfair that we have so much creativity in this country and on this continent, but we don't have our own platforms to showcase and push these things out. And that's why when my current venture, House of Faith, when I got the call about it, about what they're doing and to be a part of it, it resonated straight for me. It wasn't a case of where would the money come from. It was a case of there's a need, and there are people, the creatives are there. And the moment we announced it, we started seeing people coming out of the woodworks and saying, you know what, we've been waiting for this. When Dr. Foy said, and somebody else said that this is the time, this is the season, that there is a portal opened in the atmosphere, whether you see it or not, right now, for faith people, for faith-based stuff, for faith content. There's never been a time that faith-based projects are so close to being mainstream as they are now. And the quicker we get onto it, the better it will be for everyone. I mean, we get calls from people in Hollywood and all saying, you know what, let's know how we can help. Let's know how we can be a part of this. Let's know how we can contribute to this. And so it's a great time to be alive. It's a great time to be a creative, and you will find that you will be much at peace with what you're doing creatively when you're doing it for God and driven by God, and you get so much fulfillment from it, and the quality will be same or higher what we're trying to drive. Thank you.
So I like that thank you for what you shared. I like that you mentioned House of Faith, because a little bird had mentioned it to me and I was going to come there. So since you have already gone there, tell us a little bit more about House of Faith. Are you happy to share?
Yes. So a House of Faith is a faith-based entertainment ecosystem where we identify some gaps and some spaces, and we want to fill it one at a time, starting with the movie and the visual space. So creating a platform as our first flagship that will launch content, licensed content, put content out, both from movies, series, podcast, devotionals,
like a streaming
prayers.
platform or what?
Yes.
TV platform, which one?
We've not announced it yet. We'll announce it later at the end of this month.
Okay.
So it's a Pan-African, it's a venture. So House of Faith is about telling and curating and pulling together African stories purely for Africans and the diaspora. That is purely our target market. It's something from Africa to the world. We are creating it and funding it and harnessing all the resources that's available for faith-based stories from here. We used to say agenda free. It's not agenda free. With our own agenda, which Christ is the agenda.
The agenda
And like
is clear.
Dr. Foy said, grab all the monies available, and the funding is there. The project monies are there. The platforms are there to do it. So yes, that's what we're creating. That's what we're doing. Like I said, we'll be announcing the first flagship at the end of this month, what we're doing and how we're doing it, and where people can, put their content, bring their content, get co-production deals, get production deals, get sign-offs, and be happy being paid to do that and making money from it, and then people will follow.
I love it. Thank you. Well done. Looking forward to that.
If you don't mind, I just need to add that it's so powerful what God is doing, right? The founder, which Hakim is also a co-founder of House of Faith, was vice president of Sony Africa, right? Had to leave Sony to start this platform. So it's not just someone who, who's not professional or doesn't understand. It's been through seasons, and the Lord has been preparing them for such a time as this. So I just wanted us to understand what God is doing, that is so timely and so powerful. And He has the best people. God has people, my people.
Yeah.
He has people who have been waiting in the back end for such a time as this. Thank you, guys.
Thank you for that. So I'm going to go to McFoy. Well, and I'm actually going to take this question around the panel. So we've now talked about how faith-based films are becoming more mainstream, that we're on this mainstream platform and all of that. So what are the risks that come with that kind of visibility? And how do we safeguard the spiritual integrity while still scaling to global audiences? Everybody's going to answer this one. McFoy.
Okay, so just before I answer this, I want to say something, and it's for somebody here. One of the greatest lies that you have believed is that partnership is not good. in this season, it's about partnership. Just understand it, collaboration. Forget going on your own. It's not going to work. It's not. Just believe me. Like this one, I can give you spiritual data, and I'm a doctor, so data, so partnerships. So that's that. I think the risk. So I spent. I'm still there. I've spent 7 to 8 years in the music industry. Core. I have a deal with Sony Music. Orchard. So it's a deal that runs for 5 years. I think two things are very important. Number one is that because it's faith-based, the people involved have to have character. It's key. And I'm seeing a trend where God is allowing those who are not very gifted but have character own it. I'm being honest with you. I'm in it. Because the guy no more disgrace himself, God. So it's I think the first thing I must talk about is character. That and because for him it's important. Let me try and explain to you psychologically. We are battling, so everybody's talking about the attention economy. So music, movies. But what nobody's saying is the identity economy. The end of attention is identity. So what you behold, you become. So it's like he's saying that, okay, let me give those, and I'm going to say something very crazy here. Based crazy, you're going to be mind blown. Let's say this. Last year, in the music industry, the most WhatsApped song in Africa was a Christian song. It was An Endless Ocean. Eshe o, eshe o. The most WhatsApp song this year is a gospel song. I can never turn back. I'm not saying Christian, I'm talking about charts. I have a deal with Sony Music. So I'm seeing that he's choosing those that have character to drive this move. Because what you said is true, it's agenda. It's really about agenda. Now, before there was light, there was sound. So it was sound that made light. Let there be light. Forget I'm going a bit deep. But before there was sound, there was light. So always use sound as a measure for light. It's just technical. So when Afrobeat goes, Afro movie will go next. It's just, if you can catch it, you understand what I'm saying. And then try and template what sound did to know what light would do. For example, why did Burna Boy become a star? Simple. 4 years ago, I was in LA in the taxi. I see a white man singing, yeah, 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 yeah. Yay. Because, wow. Because the diaspora, Jackpa helped sound. Jackpa helped. So it's next. Light is next. The movies is next. It's obvious. It's like, guys, if you're just deep enough, you can see I won't tell you the third one. I won't. It's next. But you must try and study what happened with sound. Understand it. Understand the patterns. The risk is character, one. Two, and I'm saying this here, sadly, the second risk is that we won't own our IP. IP. In the music industry, I'll say this, it is wild. No big song is owned by Nigerians. It's domiciled out there. I'm telling you, my industry. To a point where even Afro Gospel that we're trying to cage, they're giving us money. Like he said, he's right. They're giving us platform. They have Spotify, blah, blah, blah. And they're taking everything from us. So number two is IP. This means that people here have to work in government. Like, somebody has to become an IP. See what this guy did with this movie, this vampire movie, this crazy guy. Sinners. He owns his IP. After how many years? 25 years. So the risk will be, the risk will be character and IP. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Laju.
Oh, you wanted to confirm, are these our last words? Yeah, so I can know what to prioritize.
No, these are not your last words.
Okay, all right. Last words on this platform. All right, thank you. So, because Dr. Foy has spoken about risk, I will just try to answer the other part of your question, which is what should we be paying attention to now? I think I'm rephrasing, but it was something around those lines.
Yes, how do we safeguard the integrity while scaling?
So beautiful. And I want to take integrity because he's taking it from the point of character. That's so important. Let me touch that a little bit before I go to where I really want to park. When I got the fund from Africa No Filter, I remember telling myself two things. Number one, they would want to work with another filmmaker no matter what. And number two, they would definitely want to prioritize a faith-based filmmaker. Because I had applied for lots of different things before. Bank of Industry used to have a Nollywood fund. And I remember applying, and they said, we don't do filmmakers again because we gave to this set of people. We gave to, okay, you know the people that Dr. Foy will tell you their names once I'm done. Because we gave to this set of people, and they sold the film, but they did not come back to us. And so because of that, like, it's not even about you, your reputation, what you can say, your pitch. We're not doing again. So I think for me, especially because film is not the only thing I do, maybe people are looking for opportunities to drag church. So, so I think that it must be. It's very important that you learn to keep your word. So even if they don't ask you for feedback, this is what we are doing. Please come and see. I think that that's so important. That level of integrity. But I think that integrity also from the aspect of excellence. It's one thing to employ someone that doesn't steal, doesn't kill or destroy, but if they are also bad at their work, it doesn't pay you. The Bible says that Daniel was put in charge of the satrap so that the king will suffer no loss. So Daniel was really great in character. But there's a reason why he served about 4 or 5 kings. He was good at the job. He didn't need to anoint his office. Even if he did, it's fine. But beyond the anointing of his office and him choosing to pray, they knew that if this guy is in charge, the king will not suffer any loss. So I think that at the end of the day, one way to really mitigate whatever risks that we're going to face is to truly do excellent work. Excellence is a great equalizer. They are going to be the same way everybody has an agenda. Some of these funders, there are also people inside some of those organizations that also have faith, even streamers that have faith in their heart. But the problem is, if what we are bringing to the table is not excellent, you make your work more difficult, their work more difficult for them. So I think that we need to really be truly excellent so that the people that have your agenda as their agenda, it will not be hard for them to kind of really support what you do. Sorry, I have notes. So excellent execution, very, very important. Sorry. One moment. Yes. Yeah, so just really being very intentional about being excellent in industry and ministry. And not assuming that we have to compromise what our faith stands for to make the stories that can sell. I think that one, it's at the core of, it's at the core of my chest. So it's at the core of what I believe in. So making sure that at the end of the day, granted we want the numbers, but we're going to answer to God. And I think that must be like really, really at our core. But great storytelling is always a great equalizer. Stories change our minds by targeting our hearts. So if we do great stories, I think at the end of the day, it will help mitigate the risks. But I also think that if you're not even a filmmaker, you just really care about the industry, don't be afraid to put your money and your energy where your faith is. I remember telling people, stop messaging me only when you say, there's gay Superman, there's this one. When they were the kind of stories that you wanted to tell, did you make noise about them? So we must learn to be bold, not just about what we are against, but also about what we stand for, as opposed to just basically feeding controversy. I think that that's so important.
Thank you for that. Edith.
Okay, so I think what's really important is quality control. And I think that we sometimes we're in a rush to make this content, or in a rush to collect funding, or in a rush, there's this rush to get a film done. And I think it's very easy for the quality of a film to go down the drain. And I feel like that is a place that we can potentially see cracks, and I feel like it's a place that we need to pay attention to. And I feel like one of the things that we're doing at Africa No Filter, especially with grantees, is ensuring that there's a lot of things in place to support film. Majority of the time, we're working with people that are established, so we don't have to do as much hand-holding. If you have a grant of a particular amount, you're expected to deliver. And you're delivering based on the brief that we've been given, which is to shift X, Y, Z. And it's usually from a funder, right? Yeah. So we have to make sure that as the people that are the actual grantees from the foundation, we need to provide the right frameworks and support for those filmmakers to ensure that they deliver the brief. So we can't, slip up on the quality that we're putting out there. So that's something that I feel more attention needs to be placed there. And like Dr. Foy said, it's about collaboration. Yeah. When you can't go alone. If you are somebody that's new to filmmaking, go and learn from somebody go on a set that you see the established filmmakers doing things and learn. And even if you are established, you can keep learning. Learning never stops. I think sometimes we feel like, oh, we've reached. Yeah. I've done 100 films. You can never stop learning. So I think those things are, things we should take into consideration.
Important. Love it. Just on the back of what she said about collaborations and going to film sets, please, filmmakers, hang out with authors as well. Hang out with writers. It would deepen your story because, they spend so much time creating the world, building the characters. Take that to the screen. I'm pushing my Koramo book to screen, shameless plug. So, Sean, over to you.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to say two things. One of them we've already said it, but it can never be overemphasized. Collaboration. Yeah. I'm saying this because as a people, not even faith-based, right, we are very resilient. You hear Nigerians have 7 means of income. One person is writer, director, producer.
Editor.
He even doing short on set. He's still doing, when he goes to post-production, he's editor. And it's good at all these things, oh, don't get me wrong, it's good. But guess what? Something will give. Yeah. That's the truth. Something will suffer. There's a reason why the big movies that you admire, you see at the end, almost 4 or 5 studios come together to shoot it. Yeah. They're not mad. They have the resources to do everything themselves. But you see Paramount, in collaboration with MGM, collaboration with, you see those things. And then you now look at budget, they spent 200 million to shoot film. Well, half of that for marketing. They're not crazy. Yeah. And then when you see the returns, they did 1 billion something in the box office. You begin to wonder, and you want to compare that with one person who did everything in Nigerian cinema. Oh yes, and you expect the same returns. It's crazy, right? And guess what? You cannot collaborate on that level if you haven't started it on a smaller scale. Because collaboration, somebody must be the fool. That's what I've come to realize. Lamentations 3 says, can two go together unless they be agreed? And that agreement is that, I'm going to be, the fool for this one to slide. Because everybody, especially Nigerians, we have ego. It's the truth. Right? So if you're waiting, let me first get there before I collaborate, foul. It's not going to work. You're deceiving yourself. So on the little projects, begin to find, and down to the second thing I'm going to say, you can't just collaborate with anyone. Yeah. Please, be intentional. Those of you who have personal altars, please, service it daily. Yes, so, because you quickly realize, it's just like when you marry wrong, you turn to philosopher. But when you marry right, you begin to think, why didn't I do these things? Right? It's the same way. Partnership, collaboration is very key. Will change the dynamics of your life forever. Second thing I was going to say is righteousness. And when I say righteousness, I don't mean the way men think. Once you are in right standing with God, it might be enmity with the next man, but you're not answerable to man. You're answerable to God. Right? So what has he told you to do? Are you doing what I said to you to do? Not explaining to everybody that, this is why, this is what. How many people can you reach? How many people can you explain these things to? Right? It's very important because, like last year, for example, the Kingdom Film Festival, I don't know if people know, right? Over 2,000 submissions for films. Kingdom films. Guess what? Only about 32 films were actually Kingdom films. Oh, yes. You don't want to know. You don't want to know what they're about. Why? Because you think your kingdom, people are pushing their own personal agenda. In fact, they're pushing the enemy's agenda, not knowing what they're doing. It's also the audience where it's subtle, and you are pushing the same thing, but you have is local but global market is what you're looking at. It can be you're talking about, a David and Goliath story, for example. Goliath can be a Fortune 500 company, while David can be a startup company. Just saying, for example. So when you look at it, you're not see it's not in your face, but when you by the Spirit you begin to discern that this is actually kingdom. Just like movies like Chronicles of Narnia. I don't know if people have seen it. The Matrix. Do you know that's kingdom? Powerful. Even Wonder Woman. When you watch it, you will see it. You will know. But you have gone and you have paid your money. You are sold on it. But like I said, it implodes from within. The messaging, the impact, it begins. One waters, another plants. It's the Lord who gives the harvest. So you are doing your part. Staying in righteousness. What the Lord has said, like I said, it's not everybody you need to explain it to. Because some people will talk you out of certain things. Because they love you. But they don't know that they're doing you a great disservice. So you cannot share the vision with everybody. No, don't do that. Right? So, collaboration steeped in righteousness. Understand who you are supposed to collaborate with per time, per season. The Lord can point you to a Muslim that you're supposed to collaborate with, and you now say, because you're doing religious, no, you have missed the point. So understand, once you are steeping your identity, you are not afraid of darkness. It's darkness that should fear light. When light, just turn on light. You don't start coming in the dark room and start interrogating darkness. I play so dark. Just turn on the light. Darkness will disappear. And that's who we are. I like the analogy that Foy gave. It's so deep. I hope it doesn't fly. It didn't fly over people's heads. Sound goes before. And light is coming. It has come, in fact. What are you going to do as one who's going to be that carrier of light to ensure that you are not the one who puts it out? Because the enemy doesn't have that much power. You have been given that power to shine it in the world, not in the church. The world. That's where we have been called to. That's where your pulpit is. God bless you.
Thank you, Sean. Hakim, what's your take?
I mean, they've said it all.
It's
They've said it all. I'll just underline a couple of things and take it more personal. When you get a call from LA and from Europe and you get invited to do this project on a faith-based platform, and you're being called by people you respect a lot and that doing this globally. Like you said, the co-founders are not kids. They are, people with integrity. You worked with for years. You've seen them, Then it's got to be deeper than surface. So the first thing to do is pray about things like that. And that's kind of where I want to bring everything to, because at the end of the day, someone mentioned in passing earlier on, what we are trying to do, the portal is open, this time is now. But what we're trying to do is go against the principalities in their space, in the air. And what needs to be appreciated is that there will be battles, there will be forces. And in one of our sessions, a reverend that was with us in that session said, you guys will be irresponsible if you do not protect yourselves and your staff, people working with you, because it's not demons coming after you, it's the devil himself, because you are going into his territory. And I have always known that warfare happens when you're taking dominion. Everything is yours. You are fine when you're irrelevant and chilling. When you decide to go after something, that's when warfare comes, because you're taking dominion. So all this is nice to talk about. If you don't go to that place of your personal altar and you don't firm up yourself with God, with Christ, everything you're leading, the attack will come from your weakest link. Sometimes it's yourself and your ego. Sometimes it's the agenda that, sometimes the real need I'll stay in the face. So I cannot, the time will come for the, the testimonies of what we've been through. But the thing is, when you are sure what you're doing is of God, is by God, is ministered by Him, and it's for Him, then you can be rest assured and just keep that fellowship going. collaboration is essential. You can't do anything alone. It's been said. The unity of the faith. Everyone has a role to play, and the last thing is just criticize less. Don't criticize. You know better knows. But bring something to the table. Bring a solution. Join the party. It's easy to talk and say, but this room is full of doers and the creatives and the people doing, and that's really where the strength is at. Thank you.
I love it. Thank you. I love what you said about don't criticize, as in if you know better, do better, because really people just do what they know, at least to the level that they know, generally. Edith, I have a question for you. And this is about, you mentor female filmmakers across borders. What are you seeing in terms of cross-continental collaboration between women of faith in storytelling? Is there something going on there that we can look forward to?
So glad you asked me that question. I'm about to plug something. We actually have a film coming out today, a faith-based film,
Oh, wow.
directed by a female, Ese Akwawa.
Oh, wow.
And it's actually produced by, no, so it'll be on YouTube, so everyone can see it. Yeah.
On
So,
YouTube?
Yeah, it's on YouTube, and it's produced by Blessing Inze, and it's starring Stan Inze, and that's a faith-based film called Alpha. So everybody go and watch
Alpha.
it. Alpha, yes, Alpha.
What channel, what platform on YouTube?
Everyone can watch it.
Yeah.
Webeck Studios. Webeck, W-E-B-E-K. Webeck.
W-E-B-E-K.
Webeck Studios. That's a faith-based film, and it's directed and produced by females.
Love
so
it.
We're intentional, and I think that our company, Webeck Studios, we are working to amplify Nigerian content internationally. And what that looks like is keeping our stories authentic, but working with international producers to be able to reach those audiences. So the language of our film looks slightly different. And when we say language, I'm going to go back to what I said before, which is about the nuance. You know, our films in Nigeria, they're fantastic and they're great, but they kind of appeal to Nigerians or Nigerians in the diaspora. And that's great and everything, but I feel like we can reach wider people. People want to know what's going on in Nigeria. People want to know our stories. People think that Nigeria is still, you know, we live in huts and, you know, people have matcha here and, you know, go to the cinema. Nigeria is just a normal place, just like everywhere else. But I feel like the language of our cinema, if we're trying to be more intentional and reach the audiences, we kind of need to do things slightly different or kind of take more things on board. And that means working with people that have that understanding and working with producers that can speak that language or that can, you know, get that funding from North America or get that funding from the Middle East. So you have to be willing to partner with people. And what that also looks like is about taking criticism. If you have a script or you have something in development, someone's going to poke fingers at it. And when we say poke fingers, it's not necessarily in a negative way. It's also about having to constructively.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I mean? So you have to be open to that. You know, here we tell ourselves what we want to hear. Oh, it's fantastic, it's great. And sometimes that is fine, but abroad, you can do 50 drafts of one film. Literally 50 drafts of one film, and you're not there yet. Do you understand? And that's it. And, or you can even I have people that have gone into development, or they're developing, and nothing has come of it. Shot a pilot, nothing. Do you understand? So these are the expectations of people abroad, where you've worked. You've gone into writers' rooms. You've gone into spaces where you keep over the same thing. You can be in development for 2 years and nothing comes of it. Here we can shoot. When are we shooting? When are we shooting? When are we shooting? When are we shoot?
Script is not quite ready, but
you understand? We want to shoot.
Days.
I want shooters. But we need to be able to understand if we're trying to. It depends on where you want to go. What's your vision? Where do you want to go as a filmmaker? Where do you want to go as a visionary? Where do you want to go as this is what God has put in my heart? What's your purpose?
Yeah.
Do you understand? So for us, we want to be able to. We have 3 wings in our company. We have the YouTube arm, which we have all our content on YouTube, and that includes faith-based films as well. We have a lot of faith-based content. Then we have collaborations within Nigeria, and then we have international collaborations where we're able to kind of partner and work with people. And that one that takes the longest time because things take longer to approve when you're working with people outside of Nigeria. There's just due diligence, frameworks, all those type of things. It takes longer to do. So that's essentially, yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much for
Did
that.
I answer your question? I think I went off on a tangent.
No. You answered it, and then you now added more to it. So that was really good. Okay, so I'm going to open the floor to questions, even though I have one more question for the panel. But I have questions. Who can help us with the mic? Projects.
Hi everybody, good afternoon. My name is Presley. Hello, hello. Okay, great. Good afternoon again, everyone. My name is Presley. I host and produce a radio show about film. I'm also a writer and director. Hi, Sean. Good to see you again. Um, if I'm being honest, right, I'm not 100% sure what I want to share is a question or a charge, but I want to say it irrespective. And I'm saying it on the back of a lot of the conversations that we've had this afternoon, speaking to story, speaking to platform, Pastor Elijah, speaking to value, and the quality of the work that you put out. And I guess for the creatives, the question is a when question. And also for the suits, Mr. Hakim, it's also a when question. And my question really is, when do we intend to put out products or content that would, if not surpass, but at least match the same content from the other guys on the other side? And I'm saying this very likely and with all the sensitivity in the world, but to help you understand why I'm asking this question, they say that when the preferable is not available, the available then becomes the preferable. We have these conversations from time to time. The ones that see the value in it would see it, but the question would always boil down to when do we actually do it, right? There's a certain Hollywood producer whose name will not be mentioned. I absolutely adore the guy for the work ethic that he has, and I'm very certain a lot of us probably know who I'm talking about. But you see, the quality and the value in this person's work over the last couple of years has started to look a certain type of way. And I'm starting to worry as to if I want to continue following this person. Now, I'm not one to point fingers or criticize. My question would be, who's going to do what we actually need to see and put enough of it out there such that the folks that we're trying to reach can actually be converted, right? That's my question, really.
Can I answer? And please, this part, don't record it so I won't get in trouble. Now, for the person you said, I would give the answer, and let's see if it's true. The answer lies in the part you don't know. I was in Botswana and I met a co-producer in his line. Funding issue. It's a funding issue, and that's why he's very key. Right. That's number one. Number two. Some people here might not be like faith-based, like Christian. But I have to say this. Those who are Christian here have a problem. And I would use my life as an example. We like comfort so much. Right. Christians quickly hide under tongues, prayer, the stretch, the mental stretch. Right. I don't see it. Right. And it was working with a few people that I saw my own flaw. We don't have the rigor, the madness to stay through. Yes. And sometimes it's like faith weakens us. I don't know why. Yes.
Dr. Foy, can I add? And I promise it's my last. I don't want to take anybody's. Sorry, I cut in, by the way. Again, I'm really happy we're having this conversation because, quite like you're saying, the reason I think it's important that we speak to these things is there's a posture that we can take that would suggest to. I'm really sorry I'm saying the guys on the other side, but it's the best way I can phrase it. There's a posture that we can take, and I believe it's the posture we've taken for the longest time, that actually suggests that we're not even 100% certain or sure or convicted of this thing that we're even saying. And I want to believe that it speaks in the amount of that content we're putting out. I've talked about film for the last 6 years. It will be 6 years in January. And every single week, when we have to talk about, say, 10 movies, on some weeks, there's not even one faith-based film there to talk about. And you do your best to couch the story in a way that you're sure that it can change somebody's life positively. But how about a scenario where, at the very least, if I'm talking about 10 movies, I can talk about 2 that I feel very convicted align with the values
Do you know
that I
why?
preach? Yeah.
Do you know why? Because, guys, please, I'm done. After this, I'm done. Amen. I'm not done. But I'll stop talking. Stop talking. The Bible says, he who wins a soul is what? Is wise. That is the most misconstrued scripture we've been taught. We think that soul winning is evangelism. Soul winning is not evangelism. The soul is made up of imagination, mind, will, choice, emotion. So Netflix wins a soul more than the church. A soul has 4 compartments: imagination, will, emotion, thoughts, and go on. You can't win a soul by evangelism. The problem, my brother, is that The church has made the KPI salvation. Beauty, excellence is not a KPI. That is not God. That's not God. My father-in-law sells cars, Coach Charis. He sells cars. There's a Range Rover in the house. Imagine you buy a Range Rover and all you talk about is the door. How's your Range Rover? The door is fantastic. Salvation is the door to God. But come on, there's the engine of, bro. I watched Oppenheimer. Bro, I saw God. But I can't say it because there's no KPI in church for how I saw God there. So excellence, beauty, these things are all KPIs in God, but because the church hasn't That's it. So we need to get new KPIs. Like excellence, like beauty, like story, like abstractness. There's so much. And I understand, I feel that the Gen Z guys, the younger guys are going to enjoy it.
Oh, they love it.
You know why? AI. And AI is going to stretch the world so much that, okay, let me say this. Before there was Chat GPT, there was Chat DVT. Chat DVT is divine voice technology. It is higher than GPTs. It is way higher than GPTs. Right. And until we get to a point where we regard DVT more than Sam Altman, we mess up. I don't see God like Christianity, like church. I see him in the height of technology, innovation. That's right. And I think the Gen Zs will do it because they have the tools and they have the freedom to cast. Christians think that God ended with my Bible story.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
That's right.
Thank you. Shut up.
Thank you. Hakim, you wanted to say something to this.
Well, So, I like your question, and he answered it the very first time, right? It's a function of funding and agenda. And when you have the funding, you have the agenda, you will get those movies. One. Two is the other thing he said that when you move with excellence, when you drive for excellence, it doesn't matter who you are. Let me put it in a different way. The world is waiting to see the excellence in Christians, not to see the holiness in Christians. The world wants to see. I tell people sometimes, your life is the only gospel some people will read. If they don't see what you do and see God in it, they will never see God. And so you need to, that excellence is all of us. What you do daily, and when you show that excellence in little thing you're doing, He will trust you with more. It's growth. You will grow into it. And so, again, we need to drive ourselves to a point where whatever you do, you can put your money into a film fund that you know that these guys are doing what is right. Yeah. You can see, YouVersion is a fantastic app. It's free. Over 1 billion downloads. It is donor funded. It is not for sale. It's not advert driven. But it's a donor funded app. Last year, they raised $40 million without advertising on any mainstream platform, just on the platform. So it's value driven. So when what you're doing is value driven, you will get those things. There are foundations, there are endowments, there are people that have willed part of their assets into YouVersion that they will, so it's in perpetuity. And we have Africans that are wealthy on different levels that you don't know their names, that you don't hear for them, and they want to get into this space to help, to add to it, but no one is giving them that opportunity. And it's the same thing from the music world when people used to complain about the musicians, the Nigerian musicians doing well abroad. And like you said, most of them don't own their IP because the platforms are not there. And the reason why I entered the space I did is not because I understand creatives or because I'm a creative, it's because I can see the gap that these creatives we are expecting too much of them. The person that is such a great performer, that is such a great director and actor, we are expecting the same person to think the business side of it. And that is so wrong, and that is not there. So where are the Christian businessmen that are ethical, that can create platforms that these guys can tie into and fight their time into and say, let's do this, and come and spend their time and money, and then the audience will come. So the audience will come. The audience is waiting. The world is waiting for the manifestation of the children of God.
Thank
So
you.
they are waiting for us.
Thank you.
So it's not, I don't even see any side as the other side. Like you said, people have chosen, when the desirable is unavailable, the available becomes desirable. And that's what people have gone ahead to take. And that's what we're suffering from.
Thank you. So we're going to take one more question.
So can we just say to what he mentioned? He asked a question. He says when. You asked when. Now is the time. I just wanted to so that it doesn't, we don't breeze past that. Now is the time. At White Harvest, we've been praying for this industry globally for the past 9 years. So what you see here is not, it didn't just come out of because people willed it. No, in the realm of the spirit, there has been an altar raised for this to happen. Right? And I'm saying this because we can now come into this space and everybody wants to replicate the same thing. Now understand that we are very amazing people individually. We are doing amazing things individually. But for this to work, there must be coming together. It's very important. The people you mentioned, there are people backing him up, like you heard for talk about, right? And those people you mentioned that you didn't want to call their names, they are very organized. But their organization is onto destruction.
Evil is deliberate.
It's not onto anything good. But you see us, everybody wants to be individual. It's me, my people, my church, my this. It will never work that way. That's why we're decentralizing all that. To bring the body on a mainstream platform like this. Because the revolution is going to start from the marketplace. Not from the church. I'm sorry to say. But that's the truth. Right? So I'm saying this for you as a charge. How can you plug in? You've heard what For is doing. You hear what, the platforms that are coming up. What is your talent that you can bring on board and say, you know what, even if I want to gift this for a start, I'm excellent at this. Let me handle this niche while you focus on your strength. That's how we're going to make it work as the body. God bless you.
Hello, my name is Uti Michael Omashine. I'm a sci-fi writer and a producer. My question is, because I watch a lot of faith-based movies, and I seem to see that it focuses on one genre only. So my question is, are there opportunities to do things differently, like sci-fi or horror?
Absolutely.
Because like what he said,
that's what I'm talking
Wonder
about.
Woman, Matrix, and I've even watched a Rapture movie that was very scary, but was great and did made a lot of money. So can we flip that script and do sci-fi as well?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I was going to say that. I think with regards to your question, we're stepping out even more. 12 months ago, we were having this panel and we were saying what we want to do. 12 months later, we've done a lot of those things that we said we were going to do, right? So 12 months from now, this film that you're talking about, or these ideas you're talking about, will come to pass. And it's all about conversations and us kind of not thinking about faith-based films in that category as just like faith, and laying on of hands and all these things. We have to think about what is your purpose. As a sci-fi writer, is to work with other sci-fi writers or work with other writers or work with somebody that has an idea. How do you birth that idea? By having a writer's room. So it's kind of sowing that seed and kind of moving past this one thing of forgiveness and all these things. And there's nothing wrong with those things, but we have to see faith-based film as a film, as a message. What story do you want to tell?
Yeah.
I can tell a sci-fi film and somebody's life is saved from that, right?
Yeah.
But that's not how I'm selling the film.
Yeah.
So you have to kind of be smart about it and know what your purpose is and what the agenda is. And once you know those things, you can tell any story. You can have a thriller.
Yeah.
You can have a thriller.
An action film.
An action film.
Why
Any
not?
type of film. Any type of film. A heist film.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Any film you want to do, you can do it.
Yeah,
So
so that
let's
was
not-
literally going through my mind
Yeah.
during this panel, as in when are we going to
Yes.
see other genres of
Anything,
film that are
anything.
faith-based? But it also ties into what I think everybody also touched on, that the misconception that we've had about, or the conception we've had about faith-based films, and how that has now evolved to, it's not about this trying to convert, it's about the vessel that is actually writing the
Thank
story,
you.
producing it, and all. So you collaborating with other like-minded filmmakers, again, collaborations, coming together and then writing about different genres of films. We are tired of the drama and and things of this world. Let's see
When
more.
will you
Drama is
marry?
good, though.
When
Okay,
will
so
you
we
give
can
birth?
only
Anyway,
drama
it's
is
good, though,
good,
yeah,
but
but
we're tired of
When
it.
will you
There's
marry?
more. There are other genres. I know. So, okay.
Presley, please help us with Mike.
We can't take any more questions. Ah. Okay, so one. Okay, so she had her hand up earlier. No, 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 the young lady behind you. Yes.
For the second time, I'm giving my mic up.
Oh, really? I'm so sorry. Oh, yeah, go for it.
God will do it for you.
Hello, good afternoon.
So, you like one breath.
Okay. So, hi, good afternoon. My name is Emanuela. I'm a solicitor and I also have a master's in intellectual property pertaining to entertainment and the music, film, and fashion industry as well. Sorry about that. So, I actually have 3 questions, but wait, hold on.
One.
But I've narrowed it down to two.
One.
Okay, one. Okay, that's fine. But then, Dr. Voigt did say something that I wanted to ask about before I then focus on my question, if that's okay. So you made mention of evangelism not being you said something about soul winning not being evangelism, right? And I really wanted to understand that because, so in essence, are you saying that that's not because evangelism is not just going out to preach, right? It's also in the movie industry as well. The movie space is a way where we can preach Christ to other people. So I'm not quite clear on the statement about evangelism or soul winning not being evangelism. I don't know.
Okay, so because it's not a Bible study, I'll just go straight.
Okay.
In the core Hebrew meaning of that word meant discipleship. And discipleship in this era is in the attention economy. So people are discipled on their phones. Sadly to say, and this is very sad, I know a therapist who says that Nollywood wrecks marriages. Some people I have friends who watch mangas. You know this Korean, it disciples them. So discipleship is the new soul winning. And content is what is discipling a generation. Just to flip it, there's no core Gen Z here, but if you are a core Gen Z, you will know, you're not core Gen Z. If you're a core Gen Z, you will know that TikTok is discipling a generation in a crazy way. You understand? I woke up at 2 a.m. on TikTok. I saw a guy wearing like juju, like a herbalist, like a juju guy, like a babalawo, and he was on TikTok and people were paying him money, and he was praying. 7,000 views. Yeah, have you seen it before? Yes. So there's a new way of discipleship. Do you get the point? So evangelism in the older ways of tracts, Sunday church, it was relevant for an era, because the mind in that era could. My dad told me that in his time they would put map on the lap and drive. They will carry maps. Am I correct? You did it. Wow, you're old, mama. You did it too.
I did it.
Fantastic. But in this era, Google Map. So it's just a shift. Now they're saying go left. I'm not saying that, it's just the shift of the
It's
time.
Z.
You get the point? Yes. No, it is the solution. I was saying that the church can't do what the film can do. This is more of a solution than the church. That attention economy is breeding identity economy.
I'm sorry, we can't. I'm sorry. We're very clear about it. I'm sorry. So if you still have any more questions, unfortunately we can't. We have to do media runs and go. Okay, I'm sorry. Just one last. Biko, just no. The lady in white gave up her mic. And her. Please. Yeah, but she has to go first, please. Just those two.
Very
And then
basic
we're
question. Hi, my name is Tracy George. I'm an actor, a model, TV presenter. So I follow all of you, everyone, and I'm a huge fan. I, however, find that, and I'm talking from the standpoint of acting, I find that when we say faith-based
content. I recently just finished The Wives, right? That's not Elevation. Oh, I thought it was. It was. I'm very sorry, but I find that what I'm trying to say is, I notice even with publicity, with your content, it's indoors. It's not for everybody. So you find that I hear through grapevine, oh, Lajung is doing something, Mrs. Lajung is doing, but it's within. So I have to be a member to get in the door. I don't know. And I don't go to your church
Are
because
you referring to...
I'm Apostle's child, Apostle
Are
Joshua
you referring
Selman.
to when we want to cast?
Yes. Because I feel as well with what Mr. Sean said,
I'm thinking,
that this thing we're doing is spiritual.
Okay, I'm thinking.
And I've not gotten any script yet. I always say this every time, and
I can use
Mr. Sean knows.
So I think maybe you ask the wives guy.
I'm yet to see a script.
Because, for
for
example,
me.
Last to Marry had Juliana doesn't attend my church. Juliana Oleode, Last to Marry has like 1 million views on YouTube, and she doesn't attend my church. Okay, Ifeanyi Kalu is in it. Ifeanyi Kalu attends my church. But then there is a third, help me, what's the name of the other guy?
Can I jump in here? I guess the main crux
The
of
other
what she's
character.
saying
Yes.
is that we need open
Open,
calls.
we
Just
can.
put it out there.
So what we do a lot of open calls. We do a lot. I think that, so I know that we personally do a lot of open calls. But I think that when you're working with people, so me, I want somebody who's coming to set and the only drama they are bringing is the one we are acting. Like, I don't want... So, and then, because I work with... My first feature had Blossom and Teniola, and I'd never met Teniola before in my life before then. For Fisherwoman's Dream, Trude was in it. Mama Pictures Ozoko. Who else? Ruby, Bisola, DME. None of them attend my church. So, I know that we do open calls. I think that it will help for... And faith-based actors in general, I personally think that faith-based actors in general don't put their work out there as much. I think that they expect that the Holy Spirit who told them they will work with you will also tell you. So you have so many DMs, I'm a faith-based actor, I believe one day I'll work with you. But then you go to their page and there is not a single monologue. No single monologue. And some people think I didn't see their DM, but I saw it. I didn't respond. I went to their page and there was no monologue, or it was just horrible. So I think that by consistently putting yourself out there and even coming to things like this. So if I was somewhere here, maybe because I started film in 2020. If I was here maybe 2 years ago, I don't think I would have known these people. But by the time I came on this panel, Onyi was the only one I was meeting for the first time. And I'm not a core industry person because I started ministry first. But I think that the more you put yourself out there, like now I know you, I know your face. Now I know, I knew Emmanuel, was it 2 years ago? So I think the more you put yourself out there, but I don't think that we intentionally, I know that I personally, my producer and my PM and my team say, but I don't think that I personally, like, intentionally do that thing. But I think if you put yourself out there more, I think that would be it.
Thank you.
Mr. Freud has come way before, and the type of content he and Mr. Sean puts together, they are disruptors.
By this time next year, like Edith said, so the conversations are...
So we are very intentional. Just before Onyi goes, we're going to be intentional about this group because the last one we did, we had to take everybody's emails and go because this is very peculiar, right? So that we're working with people who understand this call on the same frequency is very, very sensitive and important. So Onyi, please take note, right? Please, so that we take everybody's. Thank you.
That's not part of my brief. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. My name is Lola Lee Thompson. I'm Nigerian, but I'm not based here. I just want to give a shout out to this panel, to AFRIFF for this panel. I love the audacity of faith and just the thought behind it. It is needed. It is essential. They just touch on so many things and just how we have to put God out there and stand true to what we're doing. So I really love it. I think now really is the time. I'm Nigerian Canadian based in Atlanta. I like to connect with people. I'm a filmmaker, faith-based, whatever you know. I would love to connect. This is fantastic. I've enjoyed all the panels, but there's something divinely unique about this. This to me has been the best.
Thank you, ma'am.
This has been the best. So thank you so much. God
Thank
bless
you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you.
And on that wonderful note, we are bringing this panel to a close. Thank you all so much for the audacity of, just even being here, the audacity of faith and being here. Thank you so much.
Fantastic.
Thank you, everyone.
Please, before you leave, we just need a few minutes, actually just 45 seconds for our media to take pictures of the panelists, and then we can just leave here in an orderly fashion. So please use this moment, 45 seconds to a minute, to take pictures. We want to make sure that this moment is immortalized in time. Thank you. This panel explored the power of filmmaking as a tool for social change and to discuss how African and diaspora storytellers can shape narratives that promote a more inclusive, equitable, and just future for Africa and its global stage. Of course, on stage we have Dr. Foy, Sean Farquhar, Edith Nweketa, Alaju Eren, and Hakeem Kondoti. Thank you so much for being here. This is the very last panel session for AFRIFF 14th. Put your hands together for the team, and it's ended with the Lord. I love that.
So
Thank you so much.
Just touch your neighbor.
Hello, everyone. So if you are interested in being part of, just following this journey through open calls and all of that, can I give you my email address and you send me an email so I can get you on the mail list? Fantastic. So it is OY.
Hold on. You need to bring out your phone.
Bring out your phones. OY TALABI Yes, BI at gmail.com. What? TALAB, B for boy, I indigo, at gmail.com. oytalabi at gmail.com. Yes, so please send me an email. In the subject matter, just put faith-based panel, and then we'll put you on the mail list. oytalabi at gmail.com. Thank you all so much.
Thank you once again, Oyitalabi. You've done an amazing job. I appreciate you. Right here, if you're done, networking and listening, you can make your way out, please, so that we don't rush and we don't start to push each other on the way out. Please, it's a very small room, just one exit. So please, you can start to make your way out of the room. Thank you so much for coming. Like I said, we have come to the very end of AFRIFF 14. We appreciate you. We thank you so much for being here. It's been an amazing week thus far. And I want to call on stage my co-anchor for the panel sessions. If Temi can join me on stage. She has been amazing. We've been handling it from Monday up until today. How are you feeling now, Temi?
Feeling relieved.
What would you say has been your... obviously you can't pick a favorite panel session, but what has been the one that really made you go, honestly, I'm so glad I was here?
Okay, so I like the one with David that had synchronization and licensing. And then actually all the panels that had things about film in music in film. And I really liked this one. It was so many gems. I like the one with Chude as well.
Yes.
I was just
definitely,
really good.
Definitely. Really, I really believe that the panel sessions this year came correct, from the organizers to the coordinators to the panelists to the moderators. Everybody came correct. So thank you so much. AFRIFF 15 promises to be bigger and better. If you took part of the AFRIFF content and film market, we thank you. We appreciate you. The closing film is happening tonight at Film House Cinemas. I think there are 2 movies. There's Tiki, and we also have Flavors documentary as well. Don't forget that the theme for this year was Rhythms of the Continent, the Afro Beats movement. Rhythms of the Continent, the Afro Beats movement. So please, if you are still interested in attending the closing night film, it's happening at Filmhouse Cinemas on Durosimi Eti in Lekki at the IMAX Cinema at 6 p.m. today. But I think this is where I leave you. This is where I leave you. Thank you so much. My name is Sheyiton Atigarin. I've been your host, or rather your co-host.
And my name is Temlola Muiwa Jai.
All right then. Thank you so much and have a good night.
Thank you.
Woo!
Cannot buy, send me in love that you cannot mix.
Let's rate it with these pet-friendly cups.
One is the joy that you cannot waste, and the other one price that you
We have media rounds happening outside.